Donald Trump had another press conference today at his resort in New Jersey, Bedminster, and it wasn't really a press conference. Like, he read from prepared remarks for an hour, kind of the usual speech he gives, and then maybe took questions for 30 minutes. So it wasn't really a press conference. And even when he did take questions, he didn't answer any. He never talks about a question directly and kind of addresses the key premise of what he's being asked. He just talks about anything that comes to his mind at that moment in time, and he rambles and he lies and he spreads conspiracies, the usual nonsense from Donald Trump. So I have some clips from this press conference to show you. They're all very weird, but the first clip I want to show you is actually from his prepared remarks. He was talking about supply chains and the issues that come with supply chains, and just listen to how unintelligent he sounds when he's talking about this issue. I mean, it's quite funny, to be honest. Take a look.
We're going to bring back our supply chains to stop costly supply chain disruptions. We have tremendous disruptions. I have it all the time, and I think you do too. We order things, and I keep saying, well, when's it getting here? Sir, there's a supply chain disruption. And I mean, you end up getting stuff like 3 months late now. I don't know, all these geniuses over here, I think we can say that. I'm not sure that you're necessarily as much into it, but they are. And I will say that very often, we have problems with supply chains where I'm waiting for things for weeks and weeks. And I say, by the way, whatever happened to it? Supply chain, sir, it's not coming in. And it's a terrible thing. Nobody ever thought a thing like that would happen to our country.
Yeah. That's the former president of the United States, the current Republican nominee, talking about supply chains. I mean, look, I don't like the name calling. I'm never one to do it, but he sounds as dumb as a bag of rocks when he talks about anything that's serious. When it comes to supply chains, he's like, yeah, it takes 3 months to get things. And I'm sure all of you experience this delay in supply chains. I mean, why does it take 3 months? It's like, what on earth is this guy talking about? What is he ordering that takes 3 months? If you go to Amazon or any other shipping service, it's not taking 3 months. This is not the middle of the pandemic when there were genuine supply chain issues. Biden and Harris came into office and solved those, and now you go to Amazon, you order like a sweatshirt, you're getting it in a week, less probably, right? Or if you go to another shipping service, like a store directly, you're going to get it in less time. So Donald Trump is employing a common tactic that he often uses, which is making up something to be mad about. It's something that a lot of Republicans do, where they'll quite literally make up an issue to be angry about, whether it be LGBTQ plus issues or people in school, and now apparently supply chains taking 3 months. I don't want to know what Donald Trump is ordering where it takes 3 months to get the products. I'll leave that to him and his private business. But also, as I mentioned, like, just listen to this guy talk about this issue. He sounds so unintelligent. He has no idea what a supply chain is. He has no idea what he's talking about. When President Biden or Vice President Harris talk about these issues, they sound sophisticated, they sound knowledgeable, they sound competent, they sound like leaders, people who are good at their jobs and able to lead a country. Donald Trump sounds like a child, a kindergartner who is just given the word and asked to describe it. I mean, it's such nonsense. And I cannot believe that Republicans will look at this and say, oh, that's a genius. I mean, that answer was fantastic. It is so brain-numbingly stupid. to be frank with you, I'm not one for name calling, but seriously, I mean, we got to be honest and call it as we see it, call the balls and strikes, as they'd say. So just utter nonsense from Donald Trump, but that's as expected. The next clip I want to show you is him talking about personal insults. A reporter asked him, like, some people are taking issue with your personal insults of Vice President Kamala Harris, and he defended them, saying, well, I think I should be able to do that. So take a look.
Very angry at her. I think I'm entitled to personal attacks. I don't have a lot of respect for her. I don't have a lot of respect for her intelligence, and I think she'll be a terrible president. And I think it's very important that we win. And whether the personal attacks are good, bad, I mean, she certainly attacks me personally. She actually called me weird. He's weird. It was just a soundbite. And she called J.D. and I weird. He's not weird. He was a great student at Yale. He went to Ohio State, graduated in 2 years, at the top of his class, and all of these different things. And we have this guy that's running a very failed state, who's had a terrible career. I mean, you have him saying they're weird. No, he's a weird guy. And she's weird in her policy.
Yeah, he really said that. I wasn't joking. So, two main things here. Number one, he is so offended by being called weird. I mean, this label that Vice President Harris and Governor Walz has given to Donald Trump and JD Vance has stuck. People in the media are reporting it, and it's going viral on social media and continues to go viral on social media. And it bothers Donald Trump so much on a very deep level. And if it didn't bother him, he wouldn't continue to bring it up at press conferences, but he does. And he sounds like a child on a playground when he does it. He says, "No, I'm not weird. You're weird. I know you are, but what am I?" Right? He sounds like a child. He's so hurt and damaged inside by this very simple yet, I guess, effective insult toward Donald Trump and the label that he's been given, that he brings it up all of the time. And you can tell that he's offended. You really, really can tell that this has gotten under his skin and continues to do so. But the second thing I want to say regarding this is this not just the perfect representation of the Trump campaign and the operation that they have running over there? I mean, it's so immature. And instead of talking about the real issues that impact Americans, housing, food costs, infrastructure, reproductive rights, things like that. No, he says, well, I think I should be entitled to personal insults. He believes that he should be entitled and that he has a free pass to talk about Kamala Harris's gender or her race or her identity and things like that. He's not talking about the real issues like VP Harris and Governor Walz are. He's making personal insults at Kamala Harris's campaign. I mean, this should be a ad in swing states all around the country, right? That this guy feels and is more focused on personal insults than he is on the real policy. I mean, you don't see him talking about anything at these press conferences. We just saw the supply chain clip. He's not talking about a policy on how to solve that. He's just kind of making it up on the fly. Instead, he just resorts back to these childish, petty, ridiculous insults that he always comes up with. I really can't believe he said that, and I imagine that his campaign behind the scenes was cringing when he did, because why would you say that? Why? He continues to shoot himself in the foot politically, and it really does seem like he's trying to lose the election. I don't know what this guy is doing. Anyway, the last clip I want to show you was funnily enough, a Fox News reporter asking Donald Trump about Nikki Haley criticizing his campaign, saying, hey, you're not going to win by doing what we just talked about, by insulting Kamala Harris's gender or her race. Like, people don't care about that. And just check out Donald Trump's response. I mean, absurd.
Here, Nikki Haley told our Brett Baer that Republicans need to stop whining about Kamala Harris, focus on courting those independents, those suburban women, the moderates out there. What do you think of that strategy, and would you consider having Nikki Haley on the campaign trail with you?
Sure. I think that we've done very well. I think that we're hitting a nerve. I think this is a different kind of a race. All we have to do is define our opponent as being a communist or a socialist or somebody that's going to destroy our country. I fought Nikki very hard. I beat her in her own state by legendary numbers. And I get along with her fine. I appreciate that she endorsed me and all of that. I think relatively to what they're doing and how radical they are and how, in many ways, how sick they are, I think I'm doing a very calm campaign. I mean, we're here. There's no shouting. Now, you'll say he ranted and raved. Not you, but some of you will say he ranted and raved. I didn't rant and rave. I'm a very calm person, believe it or not. If I wasn't, I probably wouldn't be around anymore, Probably wouldn't be around.
Man, it's just so crazy. So, look, two small things, one big thing. The first small thing is that he continues to attack Nikki Haley. Like, he's asked about a very valid critique, I'd say, that Nikki Haley is making of the Trump campaign, saying, like, you don't win doing this. And instead of engaging with that critique, he goes, well, I beat Nikki Haley in her state, right? Like, I beat her by apparently legendary numbers. I beat her, right? Like, I hope you remember that I beat her. This guy, again, is just showing his insecurity, and he's showing his need to, like, always go after people if they offer the smallest critique. And he flips out, he goes, well, I beat her. That's just number one. The number two is that, he's still trying this label. He's saying, well, I can win this race by labeling our opponents as communists and socialists. The Republicans try this every single election. They don't have anything. When they start to do this, when they start to call Kamala Harris a communist, that means they have nothing. They don't have any policy that they can win on. They have no substance that they can win on. They just have to go with these weird, false labels. Like calling Kamala Harris a communist. Are you kidding me? A proponent of capitalism. She's the opposite of a communist. The communists don't like Kamala Harris. They despise Kamala Harris. That's the two small things. But the main thing of what Donald Trump said is he said with a straight face that he's running a calm campaign. Donald Trump, the guy that's going around screaming at reporters, making up names for his opponents, as we just talked about, the labels, spreading lies, and like inciting his followers to do things and go after people. This guy thinks that he's running a calm campaign. Are you kidding me? Do yourself, a disservice by tuning into a Trump rally one day. I know, like, nobody wants to do that. But if you really believe that Donald Trump is running a calm campaign, just listen to him speak sometime. That is the opposite of calm. He's inflammatory. That's all he does. He riles people up. He gets people angry. That's the opposite of a calm campaign. That's an inflammatory campaign. That's an angry campaign, and it's all Donald Trump knows. This guy is such a pathological liar that he'll say garbage like that with a straight face. And, these right-wing news outlets, the Newsmaxes, the OANNs, will nod along and say, yeah, you're right. You're so calm, sir. Oh, my God. So ridiculous. Anyway, that was Trump's press conference. Another utter failure by the Trump campaign. It just seems to be stacking up for them. Just failure after failure after failure. The spiral continues, and it's a beautiful thing to watch. So anyway, I will leave it there. I just wanted to show you some clips from this press conference, if we're even calling it that. Maybe a rambling session is more accurate and appropriate. But anyway, I'll leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Make sure to subscribe down below. It goes an incredibly long way. Also, drop a like on the video and comment. Let me know what you think about all this. And as I always say, I greatly appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.